I've watched a lot of hockey games in my relatively short life. Some, I'm sure, have watched many, many more, but I've watched a lot. And I can honestly say I have never seen anything like the end of this game before, and it's very likely that I'll never see anything like it ever again. Avs win over the St. Louis Blues 2-1 in Game 1 of the round robin. Even before the game started, you could tell the intensity was up. You got those little butterflies in your stomach wondering what was going to happen in this game. And you got exactly what you came for. There was a lot of classic Avs and a lot of classic Blues in this game. The first period went mostly the Avs' way. Honestly, they dominated possession throughout the period, at the end of it having outshot St. Louis 16-4. It's hard to get much better than that, and yet somehow they had less than nothing to show for it. Because as much as everyone likes advanced stat metrics, myself included, possession does not always equate to goals, and you can't win if you don't score, which was the Avs' problem in the first. The first half of the period just saw the Avs taking relatively poor shot selection or missing the net entirely, with grade A chances few and far between. But in the second half, as the game started to pick up more and more, the better chances started coming for the Avs. They just weren't converting them. Also, this is only partially related, but when you see Nathan MacKinnon playing defense like this, you know he's on a mission and you are in trouble. But for the most part, the Avs were cruising along. They did fail to convert on one power play opportunity, but the Blues were hardly even dangerous. At least until the Avs took a penalty of their own. Look, I thought the officiating was relatively weak across the full course of this game, but at the end of the day, the Avs got 5 power play opportunities and the Blues got 4, so it was relatively even. It is what it is. The Avs' first penalty kill just gets beat clean. Honestly, I don't think the Avs even really do anything wrong here. They maybe overload a little bit too much on the far side, putting 3 guys pretty deep over there, but they do a good job of keeping the puck on the perimeter. Nothing through the middle, nothing particularly dangerous in that regard. O'Reilly worked the puck back up to Shen at the top here. He's going to work it over to Perron. He's in a bit of a dangerous spot, top of the circle, one-timer area. Everybody knows it, but you have to give up something on the penalty kill. And realistically, Perron, as the puck's coming in, AJ comes out. He challenges. He does what he can. The puck just somehow finds its way through him and is a perfect shot up in the top corner. Grubauer maybe overslides a bit. I think he probably does, but hard to fault him trying to get across tracking on the PK, and the puck just ends up on the net as a good play. Credit where credit is due on that one. These are 2 very good teams that are capable of scoring goals, and that's exactly what the Blues went out and did after a very rough period for them. Big momentum shift. This period now felt not great for the Avs, despite them being in control of almost all of it, and the score would remain 1-0 at the end of the first. If dominating a period and still coming out behind somehow isn't classic Avs, I don't know what is. And while that didn't feel great, you had to feel confident about the Avs' ability to control play. And then the second period happened, and that's where you got the classic Blues. Once they get a lead, their style and the game style changes drastically. All of a sudden, nothing comes free. They're rubbing you out on every single play, making crossing the blue line extremely tough, and just smothering the Avs top to bottom. That isn't to say there weren't opportunities, but the game felt a little bit more awkward. Certainly more grindy, and the pace was not the same. To disrupt the pace more, both teams took 2 penalties during the bulk of this period. All managed to kill off on both sides. The Avs did a good job killing the 2 that they took, but struggled to convert on the offensive side. Now 0 for 3. I will say Grubauer looked extremely focused in the second period. After giving up 1, he knew a team like St. Louis giving up a second was probably the end of the game, and he was not going to let that happen. Here's the thing, in what was arguably the worst period of the game for the Avs, they only got outshot 13-10. 1, that's pretty high event for a period that the Blues tried to smother. And 2, the Avs got double-digit shots on goal. You have periods like that as your bad ones, that's going to win a lot of hockey games. Still, you can feel that sense of frustration building a little bit for the Avs that they just hadn't been able to capitalize on any of their opportunities. Gabe Landeskog, in particular, had 2 or 3 fantastic chances that 2 of them he just missed the net clean on, and the third couldn't manage to convert. It was a struggle to find the twine. The Avs would carry an additional power play into the third that would once again come up short, and time was starting to dwindle a little bit. The Avs had to find a way to break through, and as often is the case when a team is just frustrated and struggling to find the net, something silly has to happen, and it kind of did. You've heard of the fan, but what about the double fan? Blues have possession in the Avs zone. They work it back out to the point to Parayko. Parayko tries to step into one and absolutely fans on the puck. It dribbles away from him, giving the Avs what is essentially a 3-on-2. Rantanen carrying it in, just drops it back to Graves. Big gap here. People worried about Nathan MacKinnon. That gives Graves plenty of room to skate in. Graves actually wants to pass this puck. He's trying to hit this puck back to Mikko at roughly the top of the slot. He fans on it himself, 100%, but this one doesn't quite skitter away from him. It just floats along with him. Both Blues back have completely bit hard on the pass or maybe the shot, but they're not doing anything to stop Graves from walking in further. And Binnington maybe just cheating a little bit toward that Rantanen side after the missed pass. Graves just picks it up, throws a wrister towards the net, top cheddar, easy tie game. That is sports. That is the quintessential something that I've been missing for 4.5 months or something like that. Completely nonsensical play. So many ridiculous things had to happen for that play to come together, and yet it did, and it ended up in the Blues net. You can't help but laugh at it. Even if you're a Blues fan, you have to go, well, that was absolutely ridiculous. Oh well, move on. For the Avs, it's new life, brand new game, and here we go. The third period, the winner gets the driver's seat in the West Coast round robin. That goal certainly opened things up. The Blues just couldn't smother the Avs out anymore. I would say it was pretty even. I thought the Blues kept up pretty well, had some good chances of their own, but with Grubauer locked in and the Avs hungry, this game was only going one direction. It came into a question for a minute when the Avs took their fourth penalty of the game with about 7 minutes to go, but an extremely strong kill almost gave the Avs more momentum than even before, so the Avs just kind of seemed to be a train rolling downhill, slowly but steadily picking up steam. Eventually, with less than 2 minutes to go in the game, the Avs draw another penalty out of St. Louis. 1 minute and 17 seconds left of regulation in this game. And to be clear, for the round robin, if it goes to overtime, it would be regular season procedure. So it would be 3-on-3 for 5 minutes, and then the shootout. This is not play until you win. The Avs dominated possession on the power play. The Blues basically turtled. The Avs seemingly could do whatever they wanted with the puck, having multiple great opportunities. I thought they scored a goal about 3 times on this shift, but none of those went in. With the second hand of the clock in the single digits, Landy does technically ring the post for the first bad post of the playoffs, but trust me, I don't think that's what anyone is thinking about. So here's the final 10 seconds of the game. The Avs have already controlled play for a long time in the Blues zone. Mack on the far side down and deep just kind of throws it to safety over into the opposite corner where Landy is sitting and waiting. He's able to get plenty of room back out up high. The Blues are just stacking it down low. They don't want to give up anything in that area. He gives it back to Makar. Makar quickly over to MacKinnon. MacKinnon winding up for the big bomb he likes to use here, but actually it's a fake. One taps it. Beautiful pass. Multiple nutmegs over to Gabe Landeskog. Landy hasn't put a goal in all night. Finally looking for the finish. Has a lot of net to shoot at there and a screen in front. Fires it. Ping off the post. But the rebound, you can already see the puck right there floating through the air. Binnington sold out, full commit on that one, thinking it was going to be the last shot of the game. Still 0.8 seconds on the clock. Who else? New guy, Nazem Kadri, coming in to the playoffs, not getting suspended, but putting a rebound into a wide open net as time expires. And of course, pandemonium ensues after the fact. Last second of the game with the clock up. 1.3 seconds here. Landing shot comes in, rings the post with about a second left. Kadri doesn't even touch this puck until 0.2 seconds on the clock. Still hasn't made contact with it. And somehow that puck has to travel the distance of more than the entire crease in less than 0.2 seconds. He slaps at it. He hits it with conviction and somehow went a little bit too far there. Let's see if we can't back it up just a touch. Just a touch. Look at that right there. Perfect shot. 0.1 seconds on the clock. Puck clearly across the goal line. You love to see it. That is a good goal every single time. It takes the refs a while, but they make it official. Avs win. Now, I wanted to break this goal down a little bit more. I said I would on the DNVR Avalanche podcast. This is the very first frame where the clock ticks over to 0.1 seconds. And from here, there are recorded 35 frames at this frame rate. It's a bit weird because I recorded it in 60 and it was in slow motion, so a little bit of a strange frame rate. But 35 frames pass in this 0.1 second. And if we count them off, you got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. This is the first frame that the puck possibly could be fully in the net. 23 out of 35. We can play out the rest. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Didn't count the first one correctly. 36 frames then, sure. Either way, hit 0 at that point. Not an exact science. A rough science here, but 23 frames out of a potential, we'll call it 36. Do some simple math there. Well over half of that 1/10 of a second had gone by. In fact, roughly, again, not an exact science here, but there was roughly 0.037 seconds left on that clock. Do you know how fast 0.037 seconds is? Here, I'll bring up a stopwatch here, and we'll let it count to 0.037 seconds. See, that's not a whole lot of time, is it? And yet, the Avs managed to score the goal before that ticked off the clock. They take the W, they take command, they're 1-0 in the round robin. Everything coming up Avalanche. 1 win down, 18 more to go. That is the end of this game video review. Thank you for watching. You all know the drill. Head on over to thednvr.com. We have a ton of coverage, including a live post-game podcast, some amazing grades, and written pieces as well. Got it all for you, so head on over there. I am Rudo, and the exhibition was great to see hockey back, but when it means something, it just has that little bit extra.
Avalanche time, come on,